Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Pink and Purple. My name is Tembi and I'm your host. So today's topic is education. We've heard the statement, education is the key to success. But how successful are educated people? And is that statement entirely true? And I do have in studio to discuss that, Saliwe and Samkeliso. So welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you very much, Tembi.
Thank you, Tembi.
Thank you for coming. Would you like to fully introduce yourselves, starting with you, Saliwe?
Okay, my name is Saliwe Njolomole. I'm the PR and communications personnel, a women empowerment fanatic.
All right, exciting.
I'm Samkeliso Tshuma, a founder of Let's Connect. I'm also a fanatic when it comes to women empowerment, politics, and financial inclusion.
All right, awesome, beautiful. Let's get straight to our topic of discussion today, which is education. What is the importance of education, according to your personal understanding and view, Saliwe?
For me, every day lived is part of education. Right. I learned something. For me, education is more than just a classroom setup or being enrolled into a learning institution. Right. It is an everyday way of life. It is actually a lifestyle.
All right. Education is a lifestyle. I like that.
For me, education is enlightenment, you know, so we all need to be enlightened in whatever sphere that we're in. You need to be aware of yourself. You know, when you know yourself, you're also educated. So it's being enlightened to who you are and to everyone around you.
All right. That sounds totally new to me and I like it. And so what's the difference between being educated and being schooled? Because I'd like to believe those are two different things, right? If you agree.
What do you think?
I would think, yeah, per se, at a certain extent, society has come up with a different way of defining the two. I think probably coming from the way how educated people are, how they're impacting society. And I think this is coming from a level where to say what we are learning in institutions, are we able to bring it down into everyday life? Are we able to bring it down for it to be able to sustain our community, for it to be able to impact our countries? Right. So I think that's where the part where it comes there to say schooling is a way of just being on the desk or being behind a teacher or a lecturer, but education now becomes that implementation process,
right,
that part where you really bring something down to be able to help the society to be able to bring that kind of development into a place where you are involved.
All right, Sam, do you have a different perspective?
Education, ilama levels, you know, and then when you talk about schooling, I always think of when people say, I'm going to school of life, where life teaches you, it's not formal, and it's non-formal, value as fundela because of experiences. And then education is more formal, you know, where you go to primary school, you go to high school, and you go to tertiary. It's structured, you know, but when you say, are you being schooled, it's more of experiences, what you go through, where you learn from, even from your peers. I think that's what it means. That's the difference, according to me.
Right.
But I'm not sure if it's correct.
And what is considered an educated person? You mentioned that we have to implement the things that we've learned. Who is an educated person? Who are we considering low fundil? Is it the degree?
I think in our society, because we're like Zilama levels, as I said earlier, people assume that you're educated when you have a degree, when you have a PhD. So if someone has an O level, we don't consider that person educated, you know. But I mean, I think as long as you have an O level, in your own way, you are educated. But now, so levels of your education, you know. But I mean, I think most people, they strive to be educated and they forget to be wise, you know. So I mean, I'm all for get to be wise. Don't focus too much on education, because as Zimbabweans, we always say we're educated, but look at where we are.
Yes.
You know, we are educated, but we are not wise.
All right. Okay.
For me, I'll take education as a baseline. Right. I think it is critical that at every stage from being a child, you go through these institutions, these learning institutions. I think most importantly, one, just to bring our confidence. I think for me, confidence is very critical as part of our lives, as part of growing up. But I would want also to believe that it goes beyond just being in a classroom, like I said. It goes beyond being on the reading table, because education then has to be education when it comes with a skill. You know, if you look even at our curriculum here in Zimbabwe today, you would see that they've now brought in that concept where they include sports, they include culture, they include arts, they include all those other things, because it's not everyone that would want to just use a calculator, would want to be smart in maths. But for me to say I'm educated is to be able to sustain myself, is to be able to impact, like I say, to be to impact my family, to be able to bring a fulfillment within myself. Because if only I'm fulfilled, then am I able to impact the society that I live. And she brought in something very critical to say Zimbabwe is rated as one of the best countries in terms of educated people, in terms of literacy rate. But what have we done ourselves? We have people that have doctors in academics today. We've got different levels of education. But where are we missing it? I think that's where the part to say, when we finish school, we're looking forward to be employed by someone. We're looking forward to be in such an institution. But I would want to think there is something that you do probably at that particular time when you're in a learning institution. How can you then inspire yourself to bring about change, to bring about development in a society in which you're coming from?
Can I add, when she was talking about routine, when you're educated, like the skills that you get, they go for arts. But in our society, though, imagine if you say, arts.
Yes, let's discuss that, right? It's very interesting. Viewers, will take a short break. Join us after these messages. Welcome back to the show. You're still watching Pink and Purple, and we're still discussing the importance of education in a jobless society.
Okay, before the break,
yes, you were saying something before.
Man City, you know, like when she was talking about the arts, but in our society, like arts, your mom will look at you crazy, arts, because in my generation, I remember everyone was doing accounting. So my mom, when I went to Roche, she was like, you're going to do accounting. When I got them, like, accounting is not for me. I'm more of economics, you know, and she didn't understand. And then I have someone that I know, the father was like, you have to do engineering. You can't do other things. So in our culture, like arts, they're still not recognized. It's not considered. So you have to go, ube a lawyer, ube a doctor, be everything else. Even saying, Guti, you love sports. Can you imagine telling your mom that you want to go and do sports management? Sports science. You know, so they don't consider certain subjects as being educated.
Right. Saliwe, comment on that.
I would want still to say, you know what, unless someone takes a new direction, then that change will never happen. If we have to hold on to what our families, on what our parents are saying, then it becomes difficult. Yes, arts, sports might not be really recognized at our level in society today, but I believe they should be spearheaders, They should be spearheaders. They should be a certain people or certain generation of people that will say, you know what, this is where the world is taking us. Because you spoke of, your question is very critical to say the instance or the role of education in a jobless society. If all we become engineers, if all we become accountants today, do you think Zimbabwe will be able to capture all of us in terms of in the job industry? No, it means there are some areas in our societies that are still untapped. Why not then start to develop the sporting fraternity? Why then not bring that niche into the arts industry, unless someone starts to speak about it? And I'm glad, because you are also part of that. You've got some work that you're helping in that field. Why not start to make that critical movement, especially here in Bulawayo? Bulawayo is known for arts, it's known for the great talent in terms of arts. Why then can we not start to relabel it of what it is and how much it can bring something tangible on the table? So I think it starts with us. It is our generation that now, as much as what I have learned in school, what I have learned in my field of schooling, I'm not practicing it today because it's jobless.
I like what she said about how your parents might not really consider TV presenting as something that you can do as a career. And also, just I'd like you to comment on how the arts and the sporting industry, is something that probably whoever is taking it up is passionate about it. But is that going to pay? Because we're talking about a jobless society, right? If you're going to get a job, you need to get paid, and it has to sustain you. So is it going to pay? Is passion paying, you know?
I think, in Zimbabwe, I don't think passion pays. There are things that I'm doing, and I'm doing them for free because no one is willing to pay for them, you know? And I think as well with the arts, because I relate so much to Labantu arts and I see them struggling because no one is willing to pay. Because Tina is the society alapa, we don't believe in the arts industry. As much as Ibulawa is more cultural and they're into arts, but still Tina Bantu, the perception of arts, we have not warmed up to it. So you can I support it because we're like, go get a job, you know.
But
go
more reason, because
Yeah.
passion is not paying, more reason why you should go back to school maybe if you don't have O-levels and write your O-levels and get an education, don't you think?
And then what? When you get the education, and then what? Because I would want still to feel what Sammy is saying is, if we push the arts, and she's already elaborating to say she's doing this as a freelance, she's doing this as passion, and I would want to believe that I think this is the society in which we are today. Most of the things we are doing, it's about voluntary. But you'll be amazed, look at the 10 years period from now, the work you're doing, or other people that are doing in arts, definitely something will come in at a particular stage. Because this, what I'm seeing, it's a change from one era to another. Remember, it is people that had neglected to say, you know what, as much as I have passion for arts, I can't take this as a career because it's not paying. But this world is more than just doing something for money. This is my take. Money will always follow you. But look, if you settle to just say, I want to be an accountant, are you surely going to be fulfilled, Sami?
But you know, Sally, like when you say, Guti, do we need to be educated? What I've noticed, most artists actually, they end up being robbed. You have no background in accounting. You know, I'm a finances because you have no clue, you know, banking, what you need to do in marketing. So I think it's very important to get educated. As much as you're saying, Uti, I'm just an arts person, but get a bit, you know, knowledge of everything. You know, how do I handle my finances? How do I market? How do I become a brand? You need to know how to become a brand. Most people have clue. I'm an arts person. Where push up Pambili Pana is just, they think it's just singing and having a presence on stage. But there's so many things that are behind that you have to know, because you can't trust me, you can't trust your mama, you can't trust your dad. Because even now you still hear people saying, artist. So it's very important as an artist, or even if you're in sports, there's one person that I won't even mention a name, but this person, he went and he did his degree, and he's always talking about it. He's a soccer player, and he knows his stuff, so he can't be cheated on anything because he knows his marketing. He's out there doing very well because of that. So education is very important. You need to know. But now the question is, when we say education, what are we really talking about? We're not talking about degrees. You know, only we're talking about you having knowledge on whatever subject that you need to learn. You know, that's what I think.
And Saliwe, you mentioned that education is a lifestyle, right? Let's bring it back to the education policies that we have in Zimbabwe. We're taught, go to school, get a degree, but we're not taught how to create jobs for ourselves. Even if I'm in the arts industry, I need to create opportunities for myself. What would you say about that?
For me, I speak from a developmental point of view. This is the area I'm more involved with, community development. Like I said, as we get into tertiary school, or as our youngsters or our fellow sisters, fellow brothers engage into education, it is important that they are enlightened of the real truth on the ground. Not only looking at probably Zimbabwe on itself, the world over, there's been a lot of development in terms of issues to do with human resources. Where there was a need of 20 doctors 10 years ago, it's no longer the same today because technology has taken over. So as we get into our tertiary schools, in that course of learning, let's start to develop a desire on how can you use that part of field that you are training to bring in something from yourself, from your study. And through that, you are employing yourself and you are employing other people, you are employing the community. I think this syndrome, it has to slowly start to eradicate from our minds, where to say, I have to go to school, I have to have a PhD, probably so that the government can employ me, so that the private sector can employ me. Honestly, 10 years down the line, human resources is a very critical issue. Because not only in Africa, even in the world of, and West in the world over is even worse because they are more technologically advanced than us. So for me, I think in whatever fraternity one is training, there is definitely something that you can do yourself to bring about something that can sustain your living and even impact the society that you are in.
All right, okay. Viewers, we'll take another short break. Join us after these messages. Welcome back to the show. You're watching Pink and Purple, and right now it's game time. So we're going to play an educated game where you're going to pick a question, hand it over to me, and I will ask you. Yes. Let's test your intelligence a bit. All right. What is something you think you will regret in the future not starting now? And what is something you already regret not starting sooner?
Leadership workshops.
All right.
I went to America, right? And I was given an opportunity to speak at some school.
Right.
And, I spoke on servant leadership. And people were like, what? I wish I'd done that sooner.
All right.
Okay,
interesting. I went to America, baby. Oh, it's London, not America. Give me.
I was almost opening.
All right. Yours reads, what is the most important change that should be made to our country's education system?
Yeah, I think in line of what we were talking about, to say some of the things that we have learned in school is not something that is really beneficial in our everyday life, even when we finish our school. I think pushing it harder into the practical aspects and probably skills development will be able to enhance students so that when they finish school, instead of just waiting for the jobs, they are able to do something for themselves. Right. I think the curriculum has to push harder on the practical side.
Okay. Interesting. I think we'll come back to that one after this game because I have a question already. What runs but has no legs?
What?
It's a riddle and I have the answer.
I can help you.
You have the answer already.
So she would take my question.
You drink it.
Water.
Yes.
I was almost thinking I was going to give you my question.
Does that mean you're not educated because you failed to answer? No.
No.
Okay, last question. Would you rather have more money or time?
I think time.
Why?
Because there's a lot of things I want to achieve in my lifestyle. Right. I have a lot of goals that I've set, and these I want to achieve. And money, I know, will follow into those goals.
Right, and time is money anyway.
Definitely.
Right, let's go back to the question I asked you earlier. How best can we change the education system in Zimbabwe? Changing the curriculum, perhaps?
I think Zimbabwe has to move with time.
Right.
For me, this is critical. For me, this is the only way out. Because the mindset we have in our students today is, like Semi was saying earlier on, I have to get into accounting, I have to do marketing. So at the end of the day, I get a job. Right. But the era in which we are going, if Zimbabwe has to adapt into the new system, the systems of technology, then many people will cry foul. Right. So I think for me, the curriculum should enhance issues to do with skill development. I think this is critical. If I'm a media person or if I'm a student involved into media and cultural studies, what then skills should be developed so that by the time I finish schooling, I'm not like job hunting. Yes. I'm not like looking for who can employ me. I should be able to be one person that through my education that we spoke about, I'm able to fulfill myself, I'm able to fulfill someone, I'm able to actually impact and create jobs for the other people. Because the era in which we are having our young people, even us as adults who are getting into school today, is either you are pushing hard in school so that you get your aim at promotion, or there is no that time where I'm saying, I need to bring about development. Yes. Sorry, I'm biased behind issues to do with development because Zimbabwe, one or the other, has to develop.
Yeah,
so in our curriculum, we have to push issues of development in our students. We have to push issues of mind renewal, the change of mindset. I like when she spoke about the platform where you were able to speak about these issues of leadership. I think these are the areas that from a young stage, our young people are able to be taught these things. Once we go that direction, I'm sure change will never happen overnight, but definitely we'll be heading towards the right direction.
Right, interesting.
I wanted to add on that. Like with Zim, I feel like we are all educated, right? But we are not critical thinkers. We are not problem solvers. We are not creators, actually. That's why people end up going to other countries to look for a job because in our system, we don't teach people to think. We're in this situation, but no one has actually come up with solutions. What do we need to do to come out of where we are? No one knows. Even people like my PhDs, they know how to research, that's it, but they're not critical thinkers. So if we have to change our school system, make sure that we make our kids maybe solve our problems, when they're very young. Not to my problems. Now all of us, we don't know. We want to run away from problems instead of staying here and say, okay, let's put all our heads together and think, how are we going to come out of this?
Right.
You know, that's what I think. We need to have more critical thinkers.
Right.
We need to have more problem solvers. We need people who actually create.
Yes.
You know, we always say not everyone is an entrepreneur. It's fine. But as well, we need to know how to create. How can we create jobs?
Right.
You know, what solutions can I provide? And I feel like we need to do that as Zimbabweans.
Right. Okay, interesting. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming on to the show. And before we close, right, I'm sure there's something that you want to say in line with development, maybe to someone that's watching at home right now, women empowerment or anything. Your last words as we round up.
I'm one person that believes in women.
Right.
I believe in the world for women. And I think the solutions that Zimbabwe needs, or the solution that Africa, even the world over, needs, is in the women. Because in the way, in the nature in which we are created, the world, we have given the men their time to push these things, but we're seeing not much change happening. And I think it's that time the women step in and be able to bring solutions like what Sami has been saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are in a jobless society. And it's not just Zim. Because I read a book that spoke about Uguti. We're moving, like technology is advancing.
Yes.
So soon most jobs will be cut everywhere. So you need to be an innovator. You know, you need to think about what I need to do.
Right.
Be a problem solver. That's what I can tell people. Be a problem solver. Don't always run.
Yes.
But the people
Don't
that are
always
here, think about what you can do to be a problem solver. I think that's what Zimbabwe needs. Please make sure that you're a problem solver. And also when you're solving issues, remember to save others. That's what I live by, making sure that I save other people before my own interests. So yeah, save others and be a problem solver.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Viewers, thank you so much for watching Pink and Purple. From me, Tempipida, and the crew behind the scenes, it's goodbye.
My shoes fit perfectly on the pair I own. In a different world, I would choose yours, not a glass shoe. It don't matter. I'm here for you. I will hold your hand. Now close your eyes. Tell me what do you see? You lay here at night, tell me how do you feel? Let me walk in your shoes, feel what you choose, let me see what you see. Is the sky even blue? Let me feel what you feel. No need to hide, I am here, I've been here. Let me walk in your shoes, feel what you choose, let me see what you see. Is the sky even blue? Let me feel what you feel. No need to hide, I am here, I've been here. From the blue boots into your new wheels, if you let me, I will ride with you. Whatever I'm missing, take me through it. I'm here for you, I will hold your hand. Now close your eyes, tell me what do you see? You lay here at night, tell me how do you feel? Let me walk in your shoes, feel what you choose, let me see what you see. Is the sky even blue? Let me feel what you feel. No need to hide, I am here, I've been here. Your morning shoes, your trainers, don't wear them with you, 'cause it don't matter. Your gum boots, your sandals, I'll wear them with you, 'cause it don't matter. Now close your eyes, tell me what do you You lay here at night. Tell me how do you feel? Feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Let me feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Let me feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Let me feel what you feel.